Quantities for estimating. I talk a lot about estimating and the bidding process and bid leveling and how to select trade partners. There's this really interesting concept of quantity takeoffs, or doing quantities for the estimate, which helps us to confirm that the bids are proper, that we're estimating the right things, and that we're able to get to the right number. But it's a little bit annoying. In large companies, you have a little bit reduced capacity because you have so much work. In smaller companies, you might not have the capability, but it is necessary to do this. Let me tell you a quick story. The other day I was talking to an awesome general contractor, and one of the things he said to me was, Jason, we do a good job of inviting trade partners to give us pricing, but we don't do a good job yet of getting quantities. We don't do a good job yet of having control estimates. That means when the bids come in, you really don't know where their price may be high, and you really don't have anything to compare it to. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch to my computer now, and I'm going to cover a couple of these concepts and give you mainly an outline of what you can do, and then also a solution that, hey, if you don't have the in-house capability, there are very reasonably priced services out there that can do the quantity takeoffs for you, and there's applications that will make it go faster. So if you're into that, please stay with us on this awesome video. Let's go. Okay, everybody, I'm excited to be here on my actual screen, and I'm going to show you just a couple of things and lead you in a direction where you can go do this by yourself. Now, I know that if you're a professional estimator, you went to school for this, this might seem a little bit basic for you. Hey, I apologize for that. This is meant to be a bit of a basic video, but let me explain some concepts here before I begin. One of the big things that I'm worried about is that in this industry right now, we are getting bids from trade partners. Now, there's a lot of nuances between, especially when you're doing development, between usable square footage and total square foot, right? And so your trade partners could be just giving you a cost per square foot number for their bid, and it needs to be validated. The other thing is your trade partner, as good as they are, and as much as I love trade partners, they may be entering in line items that have the wrong quantities. And one of the long lost arts of construction is to have a control estimate, to have an actual estimate or a control number that will allow us to check the overall bid. So check a couple things. Number one, the scope. Number two, the square footage or any key measurement that will help you to estimate the project. And then number three, specifically the quantities. So what we need to have is the quantities for the project so that when you get the actual bid, right, when this thing comes in, you can go ahead and compare it. And probably the more ways, the better over here on the right. I know I've gotten in trouble in the past. Right, let me just tell you a couple things. I've found out that I've given or used the wrong square foot number, and they've given me a bid that wasn't accurate. I have accidentally allowed, and I'm going to take ownership for that, the trade partners to have the wrong quantities or to not have the right scope or to not have the right details. We've got to do our job. This is not a situation where you just get a bid and you're going off to the races, even if you have two or three. What we have to do on our end is to have something that we can compare it against, right? That can be done in a number of different ways, right? You can have a third party, your own internal estimating team, but one of the most common practices is to have your own quantities and to make sure that each line item is verified with those quantities. And that's a great thing to do to make sure that you're comparing apples to apples instead of apples to oranges. Now, I'm going to give you just a couple of tips here. When you do this, what you'll want to do is have a schedule of quantities by scope of the things that you need to measure. So one of the first things, and I've referenced the quantity survey manuals for a couple of different companies. One of the first things you'll want to do is identify what items in each scope you actually want to take off that have a large bearing on how you're going to verify your bid, right? And then obviously do the takeoffs. Now, I talked to a general contractor the other day that was like, Jason, our estimators are great, but we just don't have time. Let me just be real candid with you. On the lean built project that we're working on, we actually ran a little bit out of time. We had great pre-construction efforts, but these are a lot of things to take off. And so we hired a third party to go through and do it and did some double checks. And we were able to do that and really get to the right budget. And it was quite remarkable. Oh, by the way, it wasn't that expensive. Whether you get a little bit of help or use a software, which I'll talk to you about in a minute, it's all valuable. One thing that I want to say is your designers already have a lot of this information. For instance, like the cubic yards of cut fill, import, export. Typically, you can get that from like a civil engineer. You can get other quantities from the designers. All you have to do is have a really good relationship with them. So if you're not hiring a third party, if you don't have the information from the designer, and you want to do it yourself, what is the advice? Well, let me go ahead and tell you that I just did a little ChatGPT search, and you're probably like, why didn't you doll this up and not give ChatGPT credit? Well, because we need to be using more AI, and you can use this on your own as well. So I just typed in, what are the most common quantity takeoff softwares in construction, and can you give me the link? So we got PlanSwift, Bluebeam Revu, Stack, Autodesk Takeoff, probably everybody's favorite, on-screen Takeoff, we use that, Procore Estimating tools, MethVin, right? You can go ahead and reference these and have your own internal tools and be able to do quantity takeoffs for whatever you need. But the bottom line is, for me, I want you to be able to have what you need so that you don't just rely on the bid. Now, these trade partners are good. I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong. But you have to compare that to a control estimate, or at least the quantities, to make sure that you're talking about the right scope and you don't make a mistake. So I'm going to turn this into a little bit of a blog post and add the softwares that I'm talking about from the search into the description below. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.